Ready? The second I pushed go live, Layla barked. I swear, she knows us too well here. Layla, say hi to everybody. Say hello. I don't know what I think my husband came in the house, which anytime she hears a door slam, she's a barking. Yep. Randy says, it's me, Layla, hush. Layla, go see your daddy. Go play with him. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope you've had a good day. It was beautiful weather here today. Hi, Julia. How are you, my friend? It was beautiful here today. Nice day. I unfortunately woke up at 4 this morning. I had my alarm set for 5 anyway, so I could get up and get to the city early to see Mama. So I had my alarm set early anyway for 5, but I woke up at 4 to go on that little bathroom run I make a couple of times a night, and like I didn't ever go back to sleep. So finally I gave up about 20 till 5 and just got up and made coffee, and I was in Little Rock early and in rush hour traffic. I did not plan that very well. And could not wait to get back to the country. Let's see. Hey, Lois. Howdy, howdy. And Lydia's here. And Debbie and Peggy and Susie. Susie, thank you for asking. I'd say right now she's kind of holding her own. We have been, or the doctors have been talking with us about potentially hospice. So she definitely stands in the need of prayer, and we're just not sure which way we're going to go yet. You know, there's always one more test that they'll get back Thursday, which I'll travel back Thursday, and hopefully we'll learn more. But she's pretty sick, but she knows her mind is good. She knew I was there. I fed her breakfast. I got there early enough to feed her hospital breakfast, which wasn't too tasty, unfortunately. So thank you guys for asking and keeping me and the family in your thoughts and prayers. Yay, Donna made it. Hello, Donna. Hello, Helene. Helene, I saw a horse today and thought of you. Hello, Betsy and Linda. Oh, your doctor was happy, Karen. Oh, don't you just love that? When you go to the doctor and they're like, oh, you've lost some weight. It's like, yeah, I have. As opposed to, well, your weight kind of went up. My mother-in-law one time, she'd been to the doctor, and it was so cute what she said and what the doctor had said. He said, well, I see you have maintained your weight. And she said, well, it wasn't hard. And I thought that was the funniest answer ever was. So congratulations on that, Karen. That's awesome. Nice in Southern California. Hi, Michelle. Brenda. Oh, you went to visit Terry. I hope he's doing well. Brenda, when your mama said that, I thought that was so funny. She just giggled when she told me that. Hello, Becky. How many miles there and back? It's 2.5 hours. I don't know, a little over 100 miles. But it's 2.5 hours there normally, but in rush hour traffic it was a little bit more than that, and I wouldn't drive through that if they gave me, well, maybe if they gave me $1 million a day. I'm just an old country girl. I have to stick on dirt roads, but it was over 5 hours in the car. Thank you. Yeah, my kids tracked me on 360. Hello, April. Hello, Rita. Spirit horse, there you go. April, I miss her too, honey. Hi, Julie and Cindy and Shakira. Come on in. If you're new here, let us know. I added a bunch of people to the group today. So, I mean, like 50 people or something like that has joined our group. So, if you're new here, come on in. We are tickled that you're here. And this is a real casual thing for sure. And for those, in case somebody's new here, I know all of y'all know me, but my name is Lynette Whiteside, and I'm the Community Care Coordinator for the Holy Mess. And I have lost and am maintaining a 360-pound weight loss. Hi, Lynn. Lynn, this is your first time, right? Welcome, Lynn. I'm so proud you found us. Proud you found the Holy Mess. We're happy you're here, too. Uh, Terry, I'm sure you're on here. Look what I found this week. A little stuffed raccoon. I like raccoons. So I put him behind my laptop. He's like my stuffed mascot as opposed to my lap chihuahua. But I thought that was so cute. And he has a name. Our raccoon that lives outside on the porch, we call him Ricky Raccoon. And this is Ringo. So if Ricky ever brings a friend, I'll call it Ringo. So anyway, also I bought this and ordered it. It's a tumbler, like an insulated tumbler. I think raccoons are so cute. I know. April has had a hard week. She lost a pet and has had some sickness. And that's very hard when life smacks us around a little bit. This week, I forgot to turn my volume down. This week, we're going to be talking about portions for a serving. I never really thought, there's our friend Sarah, hello, hello. I never really thought much about portions or servings, especially when I'd first started out. And, like, don't stress over it. We just like to learn little bits as we go along. But when I started learning and looking, was I eating a portion or was I eating a serving? I was shocked. How I discovered I was eating a portion was with powdered peanut butter. I like peanut butter powder. Well, actually, I like peanut butter, and this is a much healthier substitute. Thank you. Thank you. It was good for the weather today because I couldn't decide if it's going to be warm or cold. So, the serving size, when you read the label, I've got some boxes of food here. When I would read the label, it would say the serving size was 2 tablespoons or 12 grams. Well, now, I don't know about you guys, but when I would dip my tablespoon in there, I was packing it like brown sugar. Like if you're going to cook and you pack brown sugar, I was squishing her down in there and flopping it in my little bowl. So one day, I decided, you know what, I'm going to weigh that. I was eating almost 2 servings in my portion. So a portion is what you actually take in your mouth, what you put on your plate, what you actually eat. That is a portion. A portion can or cannot be a serving. We have, and where this really comes in important is like your 0-point foods. I can eat like a gob of grapes really quick. I like grapes. And I have gained weight before eating too many grapes every day, even though they were 0-point foods, because I was not eating a serving. I was indulging in grapes and probably having more like 3 or 4 servings, even though they were 0 points. Grapes are a little bit higher in sugar and a little bit higher in some calories than, like, say, berries, which if I have blue teeth, I had a blueberry. I make this blueberry smoothie. I'm hung up on it. I use a magic bullet that I found at the Goodwill. And what I do, I set the little cup that goes on the magic bullet. I set it on my scale and I weigh out a serving of blueberries. And clear the scale out and put it on milliliters. I pour in 240 milliliters because that's a cup of the almond milk I use. I use unsweetened vanilla almond milk. Throw a cap full of vanilla, a scoop of Splenda, and it makes like the best. I do it with strawberries, mango, frozen pineapple is really good. And, I feel like I'm having full-on ice cream or like better than tropical smoothie. But that's one of my favorite evening treats, especially in place of ice cream. It's a good swap. And sometimes when I'm pouring, I get a few grams over. I try to track that. It doesn't matter, like just a few little calories, but it keeps me consistent with tracking things that are big calories. So here's the foods I've brought with me. as examples, I reached into a bag of almonds like this, except it was open. Reached into a bag of almonds and grabbed a handful. And 57 grams is what it weighed. And I laid it out flat and counted it. And an almond is almost right at a gram most of the time, depending on the size of the almond. So there are roughly, I know I probably missed a few, I'd say 58 to 60 almonds. And it comes up almost to half a cup. A serving of 34 nuts. So this is almost 2 servings in this portion. A serving of 34 nuts is 170 calories. And I promise you, this was my handful. I stuck my hand in the bag and pulled this out and put them down in this little portion bag. Then I'm going to pour them back up in the almonds, so I don't want to eat them. That's why, a reason why, I have these little fellers. I buy the little 100 calories. Yes, I have these, and I am much better than I have been in times past. But I know if I open one of these, I'm going to eat one. I know if I open a big bag of almonds, I'm going to take a portion instead of a serving. And by the way, this has 18 grams, so this has approximately 18 almonds as opposed to what I would be serving myself if I didn't weigh and measure. Wow, big difference, huh? It's the difference in 100 calories, and I don't know how many 57 be, over like close to 300 calories. So, big difference. Almonds, nuts, walnuts, pecans, peanuts, I could eat them freely. However, my daughter, I know, Lois, isn't it amazing when you look at it like that, look at it differently? I was with, my daughter went to church with me, which I was proud, Easter Sunday, and she had stopped at a convenience store, I forgot what for, but anyway, she came out and she had bought a container of boiled peanuts. Now, I'm Southern, but I'm in Arkansas, so I'm not Southern enough that I've had boiled peanuts before. Very interesting. Kind of like a bean, actually. So for y'all real Southern folks, I have eaten something new. I eat a boiled peanut, and it was so salty, it like burned my tongue. Have you ever eaten a boiled peanut, Mecca? If you're in the Holy Mess membership, which, by the way, we have a ball over in our membership, we actually, one of our doables for this week is to try a fruit or vegetable you've never tried before. You love them, Lois? Crystal loves them. I'd never eaten one. I don't know, I've seen them in stores, just never had tried one. But over in the membership group, one of our doables is to try a fruit or a vegetable that you've never tried. And I think I've eaten just, these were hot. They were like in juice, water, I guess. You grew up eating boiled peanuts. I'm going to have to give them a second try, something not so salty. I might like them better. So, anyway, a fruit or vegetable we've not tried before. That's what we're doing over in the Holy Mess membership group. And I thought, what have I not tried? And I happened to remember I had some pre-prepared jackfruit. So that's what I'm going to try for my doable for tomorrow, is jackfruit. So if anybody has ever eaten jackfruit, thumbs up or thumbs down. I'll let you know tomorrow. Yeah, I prefer crunchy, I think, too. But I do like beans, and it did have a bean vibe going on. Kate has never heard of boiled peanuts. Well, we may have to buy a can and send to Kate so she can try a boiled peanut. Okay, I'm going to move on to my next food thing. And this is like, I don't know, sometimes my brain falls down rabbit holes, and I've never had jackfruit. That's going to be a first for me. It's supposed to be really a whole lot like shredded pork, I think, something like that. Once upon a time, there was a brand new little Weight Watcher named Lynette who didn't read labels because I didn't know to. And when I looked up the points for a serving of microwave popcorn, I counted a serving of microwave popcorn. Well, that little Weight Watcher girl grew and, well, I didn't grow. I shrank and shrank, but I grew in my noodle and got to reading labels and got to learning things. This is a full-size bag. I buy the expensive stuff, right? 94% fat-free. This is the family size bag. I'm going to say, I always thought this big bag was a serving. In this bag, if I look at my label, there are, see, 7 servings per carton. So a little over 2 servings, because there's 3 packages. No, wait. Yeah, 3 or 4. There's 3 packages in here. So this would have a little over 2 servings in the big bag. So when I would count my points, I was only counting 1 serving when I was eating a double portion. This one, my family eats that one because, is there 4 in there? There's 3. Okay. Oh, that's the one I got out of here. Oh, I told you guys I was rattled. This is what I buy for me. Just because the only reason they're Orville Redenbacher is because Best Choice don't make mini bags. If they did, I would buy them. These are the little 100-calorie bags. I promise you, I can knock out one of those big bags of popcorn easy peasy. I mean, without even really looking around and thinking much about it. But one of these little bags is a single serving. I have to have popcorn after a while. I've still got points left. This is a serving. This is what I was calling a serving when there were 2 servings in it. So eating this whole bag, I was eating a portion as opposed to a serving. And that makes a huge difference at the scale. Whenever, you know, if you have 2 or 3 points you didn't count here, 2 or 3 points you didn't count there, at the end of the day, it all adds up, you know, and can affect our weight loss, slow it down for sure. A lot of times, chips, you know, I used to call them quarter bags because used to you could get 4 bags of chips for a quarter, you know, like these little bags, just the little sandwich bags of chips. That's a serving. Now, I mean, that was like when they were a quarter, so a day or 2 ago. Now, if you go into a convenience store or wherever and you want to buy a bag, an individual bag of chips, when you get to reading on it, there can be like 3 servings in that. And wow, you can really do some damage. So I really like individually portioned things. They have these at the Dollar Tree. What have I got stuck on there? A magnet. Get off that. These I got at the Dollar Tree. They're 60 calories per pack. I do have some pretzel sticks, but I like to throw these in like if I'm going somewhere. And by the way, speaking of going, all this going back and forth to see Mama, I have an insulated backpack. I put 2 ice packs in it, 2 bottles of water, a can of Coke Zero, a turkey sandwich, an apple, and something crunchy to eat. So I pack my lunch. Now, I'm really quick at it. I can like throw it in really quick. So those are handy for things like that when you're on the road and you need something quick and easy to throw in. What's been interesting is I went with my kids and my sister. Today I actually went by myself. Uh, but twice we've been to Raising Cane's, and I seriously love Raising Cane's. But because I had already packed my lunch when they ordered, it made me not as apt to want to order Raisin Cane's. Have I eaten Raisin Cane's since I've been on Weight Watchers? Yes, I have. I have had one chicken finger, and as much as I love it and as fond as my memories were of it, it was not as good as I had made it out to be when I went to count it. So when you're going on the road, having your pre-portioned, pre-packed fruit, vegetables, chip like crunchies, whatever your crunchy is, a sandwich, whenever you have those packed, you're less likely to make an impulse purchase like that, going through a drive-through, because you think, well, I've got my lunch. So then you have a choice. Am I going to eat the lunch, or am I going to go off the rails here on a crazy train? So peanuts, these bags of peanuts, I like to put peanuts in my Coke Zero. They're like 2 or 3 servings in a bag of nuts. And, America in particular, we have a problem with growing obesity rates. And when I was overweight, I really could care less. But now I can see why. Because I didn't read labels. I ate the container. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. I ate the contents of the container. If it had 3 servings, then I ate 3 servings. And then I got 3 times bigger than I should have been. If it had 1 serving, because I thought this was a serving, that wasn't enough, so I'd get 2 or 3 bags, because I was used to this being a serving when I was eating portions. Oh, Paula, that's okay. We're just proud you made it. It does have, it's crazy points, crazy high. That's why I just had that one chicken finger one time, because I thought it's really not as good and not as worth it as I thought it would be. So again, a portion is what you actually eat, and a serving is what's recommended. Now, when I first measured out a cup of spaghetti, I could have cried. I'm not a huge pasta fan anyway. When you measure out a cup of pasta, spaghetti, you just get this pitiful little lump, not much bigger than a mouse hardly, this pitiful little lump of noodles on your plate. Now, never ever ever in my life before learning about servings had I eaten a single little cup, which we'll get back to this being a cup here in a minute, as a serving of pasta. A serving of pasta to me was like a plate the size of a hubcap that was this high, deep, a mountain. I had a mountain with snow on top because of the Parmesan. And whenever I measured out this little tiny pitiful cup of pasta, I'm like, well, that's not enough. Helene, you just said it. Servings are often not enough for a volume eater. And to spend 6 points on that little itty bitty baby cup of pasta, I was like, well, I'm going to starve to death. Not, but in my mind, because I was used to this big, giant mound of spaghetti, this wasn't even a kid's portion, much less an adult portion or serving, but it was. Jeanette says she's finally gotten her sister to reading labels. Oh, she lives with you and does some of the groceries. Oh, the numbers. I love reading labels. It takes me forever to shop. And a lot of times, whenever I look at something and I'll think, oh, I want that. Not necessarily need, but I want that. And when I do this and look at the label, I'm like, not worth it. Putting it back, not worth it. So I kind of do a, is it worth it or is it not kind of thing. And those of you that are in the Holy Mess membership, the trip down the Easter chocolate lane doesn't count if you've watched that video. Measuring plates, cups, spoons, you cannot have too many measuring devices. I have measuring cups all over the house. Well, all over the kitchen anyway, and spoons. Because if I have them at obvious places, then I will measure. I have like a half a cup. It's not a scoop, it's a measuring cup. But like in my oatmeal, like a half a cup scoop. I keep that in there. I keep a third cup measure in my Splenda, not because Splenda needs that much monitoring, but because I'm probably pickled on Splenda, and it helps me to not just dump. I literally am seeing what I'm putting in there. Same thing with flour. I keep a measuring cup in my canister of flour, because you're going to have to measure it anyway, and that keeps it real. Yes, that's why the calorie density chart is so important, is because we can eat like these little bitty bag of nuts is 100 calories. This, put it back in there, this bag of popcorn is 100 calories. Now, I don't have any fruits and vegetables in here with me. I have them in my refrigerator. But if I was going for what is going to be the biggest bulk, it would be the popcorn. Absolutely. If I'm needing protein, though, I'm going to go for the nuts. Mecca says her food scale has been a very good. Absolutely. I have a couple of different ones, but right now I'm back to using my oldest one. I don't know. Me and it has a history, so I like it. Julia, you scan it too. Do you know what I call that? It's like sticker shock. When you scan something and you think, this is probably going to be like 4, maybe 5 points, and it comes up like 14, and you're like, whoa, that's going back on the counter. Yes, the kitty plates. Very good point. Kitty plates. I usually eat off of a salad plate most of the time. Unless I'm eating, like this evening, I had made a pot of the Holy Mess veggie soup. So, and in my pot of soup, I have a cup, measuring cup. So when I dip my serving out, I can measure as I go. And I take that bowl, after I've measured my soup, I take that bowl, set it on the scale, and I added some fully cooked chicken breast to it. So that's what I had for supper this evening. That pot of soup has come in so handy this week of not having to think about it or worry about what I was going to eat when I got home. A cup of cereal. Cereal is one of those foods. Now, I'm not apt to overeat cornflakes, but if you give me like some Fruit Loops or some Apple Jacks or peanut butter Captain Crunch, suddenly I can't measure a cup. A cup of plain old Rice Krispies, you pour that in your bowl and you think, well, that's not much, but when you put that peanut butter Captain Crunch in there, it's even less. And the points are crazy different. When I eat cereal, I try to eat high fiber cereal because it sticks with me longer, and I also try to eat a protein with it. Hey, Elvina, how are you, my friend? I try to pair a protein with my cereal, and I like cereal and yogurt mixed together. I don't know, it's the smooth and the crunchy type of thing. Common healthy snacks that people as in me, excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat, that people think, well, that's healthy. I can eat that. That's the D word, diet food. And some examples this gives is granola. Granola, I have desperately looked through the granola boxes, and I just have given up. I don't buy granola. Every blue moon, if some's on sale, I will buy a small portion of granola, because granola is one of those foods I can just keep grabbing a handful. It's really good, Crystal. You might try it. I don't now, but I used to make it pretty and put like a layer of yogurt and a layer of cereal, a layer of yogurt and a layer of cereal, kind of like a parfait. You can chop some fruit in it. It makes it really pretty. Now I just stir it all together and eat it. But like if you wanted some fresh fruit, grapes is really good in yogurt. It makes almost like a grape salad. It is frustrating. Absolutely so frustrating. Um, Granola trail mix, these are very calorie dense. On our calorie density chart, they would be way over here in the red because it's a small amount of food for a whole lot of calories. Just like, it doesn't mean it's good or bad because nuts are good for you. This many nuts probably not so good for you. This many nuts probably not so good for you, but this many nuts, a serving, is good for you. Yeah, you'll have to try that, Crystal. I think you'd like it. It's pretty good. Portions on foods like that are calorie dense are usually, our servings, I should say, are rather usually pretty small. If you look on granola boxes, just next time you go to the grocery store, go down the cereal aisle and look at the granola. Check added sugar and check the serving size. Most of it isn't over a third of a cup. Some is even a quarter cup. Look at your calories and added sugar. But we've been told that's healthy, so I should eat it. That's going to make me lose weight. I should eat it. A quarter of a cup will not make you gain weight if you count it and track it. A cup or 2 cups, not so good. That's when you're eating a portion instead of a serving. Mindless refills. I will not eat from a bag, like a big bag of Lay's potato chips. I'm not saying I won't eat potato chips. In fact, I stopped at Sam's and done a pickup today, and I have potato chips in my car. I have the little 110 calorie Pringle single serve cups because I know if I sit down with a bag of Lay's or cheese puffs or corn chips, I'm prone to not stopping at a serving. If I do eat from a multiple serving bag like that, I get out my serving and leave the bag in another room and go to eat it. You can, I've actually, Lois, looked up some healthier granola recipes. What I have a hard time with is finding some that are low sugar because a lot of them use honey. Honey is a healthier sugar, but it's still a sugar. And I've never come up with one that's just really super low calorie. I've got a couple of kind of moderate recipes that turn out pretty good. But you can make your own granola, absolutely, with rolled oats and that kind of thing. So smaller plates help us control that. Using measurement devices, if it's a scale, if it's a spoon, if it's a cup, whatever you need to use. And reading those labels, I can't stress label reading enough. Because I've gotten home, and once you get home with it, I don't know about your mentality, but mine, once I bought it and I get home with it, there is like a 98% chance I'm going to eat that. So if I check it in the store and see that this is a major point or calorie investment, do I want to make this investment? Just like you're shopping. Say you're shopping for a shirt. You're going to buy a new shirt. And you look at it and you think, how many times will I wear that? Is it worth that investment? Or should I get something cheaper? So I do that a lot of times in the grocery store. I tend to think of points and calories as money. Like, is it worth this for me to spend this much on it? And a good story with that, you guys that know me know I am a frugal girl. I like to stretch my dollars. When we went wedding dress shopping, I had picked out a mother of the bride dress that was very beautiful, and it was very much $189. And they're holding, it was on layaway, of course. And in the last 2 months since then, I got to thinking, I'm going to wear that one time at the most, because it was a floor length. So I got on some online shopping things, and I got me a very pretty, y'all have to wait till September to see it, mother of the bride dress that's just as pretty and was 20 something dollars. I felt so good. That made me feel so good. And I feel good when I save calories and points that way. It's just like, exactly, Crystal, you said it. It's like a budget. And that's what I used to tell people when I led Weight Watcher meetings. It's like me giving you $25 and saying, take this and go buy whatever you want to buy. Well, back then, everything at the Dollar Tree was $1. Now it's bumped to $1.25. But if you go like to the Dollar Tree, that's like your produce, your non-fat Greek yogurt, fruits, veggies, lean meats. Those are your Dollar Tree items because they're cheap on points, so you don't spend much out of that I gave you. Now, if I gave you $25 and told you to go to, where are we going to go? We're going to go to Belk. We're going to go to Belk and we're going to shop for shoes. Can you get a pair of shoes for $25? It's going to take all of what you've got to get this one pair of shoes. Like, what's really high in calories? Well, let's just go fast food. You can spend 40 points on one fast food meal. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Look up Sonic Blasts. And my eyeballs rolled back in my head when I seen how many points Sonic Blasts had. And that's just because we have a Sonic, not picking on Sonic. But you know what? Some days it's worth that investment, but not every day. Because I want to feel full. I want to eat a variety of food. And it's literally putting all your eggs in one basket like that. 23. Is that what it is, Aaliyah? Do you remember us looking that up in class in Weight Watchers? And our eyeballs rolled in our heads. Because I can knock out a cup of ice cream like really fast. Like super duper fast. Okay, so let's pretend we're somewhere not at home. We're at a church potluck. Or a family get-together. Or we're at a buffet. We're not in our safe environment with our cups and spoons and scales, so we have to guess. I full on believe that's one reason God gave us hands, is for guessing our food. Okay, a cupped hand like this is somewhere between a half and a cup, I've got big hands, depending on the size of your hands, somewhere between a half and a cup of pasta. Now, I did the claw, and the nuts are hard to hang on to, and I come up right at half a cup on the nuts. So if you're serving yourself some pasta, kind of look at your hand and think, is that about this much? That's going to be somewhere between a half a cup and a cup. Same with cereal, potatoes, vegetables, whatever. Now, if you're doing meat, they say a deck of cards or the palm of your hand. And this is the palm of our hand, but not when we're eyeballing and guesstimating serving size. This is where your serving size is at. That's roughly 3 ounces. And I found this to be very true. An ounce of cheese is this much of your thumb. That is also a tablespoon. This finger is a teaspoon. And you know, I measured real peanut butter that way too. When I think these 2 thumb end joints, that's a serving of peanut butter. That is so not what I put and call 2 tablespoons. I probably have more like a 1/4 cup on the biggest spoon I can get down in the jar, and I'm only cheating myself when I do that. One thing I learned from the Holy Mess early on is my body is counting whether I'm counting or not. So I can run that spoon down in that peanut butter jar and pull up a half a cup and call it 2 tablespoons, but not really. I didn't eat a serving. I ate a portion. How many servings do we need a day? What is healthy? This is based on current recommendations, not to take the place of anything your doctor has told you. We need 3 to 5 vegetable servings a day. I've gotten that today because I bought some grape tomatoes at Sam's, and I have had the soup, so I've got that today. Yes, double yikes, Crystal. Absolutely. Fruit, 2 to 4 servings. I always try, well, I don't have to try. I love fruit. I always get 2 servings a day, sometimes 3, and I try not to go over 4 because I know I'm throwing a lot of sugar at myself at once. Now, is having 4 servings of fruit better than having 4 pieces of cake? Absolutely. So if it's down to I'm going to eat cake if I don't eat that watermelon, I'll pick the watermelon first most of the time. How many servings of protein do we need a day? 2 to 3 servings of protein, and roughly 3 ounces is a serving. So that would be anywhere 6, 9, 12, depending on your body size and shape, ounces of protein. Dairy, we need 2 to 3 servings of dairy. I get that because I use almond milk. I get my dairy from yogurt. Oh, I love grilled cabbage steaks, Janet. Absolutely love those. There used to be a guy at town that had a barbecue truck, and he used to smoke cabbage heads. Now, I can't make them as good as he did, but whenever we grill, after everything comes off the grill, I'll spray a cabbage head, and I take the core out, and spray the cabbage head and season it, spray it with Pam, season it, and roll it up in a big ball of foil and just forget it on the grill. And oh my, I love smoked cabbage heads. That was his specialty. Fats, yes, believe it or not, we do need fats in our diet. I tend to get most of mine from nuts or cheese or chips, but fats, a teaspoon, and that's back to not counting my fake fingernail. This is our teaspoon of fat. And in fact, today, like I said, I got down there in time to feed Mama breakfast, and they gave her cream of wheat. Now, you know hospital cream of wheat. That's not fine dining. No. Mama likes sweets. And I said, I'm going to put 3 packs of sugar in this and let you taste it. Okay. And they had one of those little round thingies of butter. It was not a smidge more than a teaspoon, but I raked it all out that I could, and I put it in there. And she said, put some more sugar in it. I'll put more sugar in it. And they're trying to get her to drink Boost, which she don't like. I put a little bit of Boost in it to kind of flavor it and sweeten it. And she said, did you put butter in it? And I said, I put all the butter they gave us. And she couldn't even taste it in there. And I said, I promise, I put all the butter we had. But, you know, to me, the old me, the old person I used to be, when I put butter in cream of wheat or in oatmeal, it was like peanut butter. It was a whopping spoon. Me and one of my friends used to call them yellow puddles. We wanted yellow puddles in that. And now, when I measure out maybe 2 teaspoons, whatever amount I decide to invest in that, measure it out and put it down in there, I'm still yet shocked at how many servings I used to eat. On veggies, a cup raw is roughly equal to half a cup cooked. That's just extra food for thought. So don't think about this servings and portions as restricting. Absolutely not, because Crystal, who's on here tonight, said one time, and I've never forgot this, Crystal, deprivation leads to desperation. And I have found that to be very true. Whenever I overly deprive myself, then I'm more prone to overindulge, to overeat. So think about it as being more aware. I'm more aware because I know how to read food labels. I can read food labels. And I no longer think a big bag of this is a serving because I know this is a serving. That has 2+ servings in it. You was just thinking of that earlier. I say that a lot, Crystal. I love that. Uh, you're not guessing. You're making accurate choices. So, like sometimes I pick up an apple and I'm so tempted to lie, even though it's 0 points. It'll say a medium apple. If I eat an apple that big, I still want to call it medium, but it's not. That's like a large apple. But on the other hand, I don't know if you guys have seen those little rocket apples in the store that are just like this big. Now I make sure I count that as a small apple, but this big apple, it's just an apple. So I try not to fib. I try to buy the smallest bananas, not these big foot-long bananas. I try to get smaller bananas. That way I'm not even tempted to say I ate a medium banana when I ate a very large banana. So this week, if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, read some labels and measure some stuff that you have been guesstimating and see how close you are. I can get really close unless I'm not wanting to be really close. I can usually get within a few grams or a few tenths of an ounce if I'm measuring in ounces on how close I am to something. And everybody seems to be liking the printable. That's not the printable. So I fixed a printable. I'll post it on here. And it tells serving sizes and how to guesstimate it. So fresh fruit, a tennis ball is one medium. Chips and crackers. We were talking about chips and crackers. It says a handful. Now, I can do some damage with my hand. I'm like the claw thing at the grocery store with the toys. But about 15 pieces is a serving. Nuts, 1 ounce. That also says, if you want to think about it, a shot glass. So, wow. You love the printables. Good, Debbie. I don't mind doing them at all. It talks about how to use your hand to guesstimate and the recommended servings. So this just kind of summarizes up everything we've talked about. Now, our crumbs from the table. Oh, you're welcome, honey. No problem at all. I enjoy doing it. Our crumbs from the table. I thought, of course, about portions. And the first verse that came to my mind was Lamentations 3:24. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. The Lord is my portion. There's actually 3 verses I come up, so we get 3 crumbs tonight from the table. Psalm 73:26. My flesh and heart may fail. Yes. But God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. When faced with picking out a serving of M&Ms, I'm going to be like the claw at the grocery store with the toys again. That is not a serving of M&Ms. I'm choosing a portion. So my flesh may fail when I'm faced with a handful of M&Ms, but God can be my strength and my portion. And the last verse, Psalm 119:57, the Lord is my portion. I promise to keep your words. I know, Crystal, they get on our feels, don't they? Get all up in our feelings. The Lord is our portion. So think about that when you're serving your food. Serve yourself a serving. And when you finish your meal, if you're still hungry, you can go back and get more. Somewhere along the way, and I don't know when, I stopped eating seconds. And I don't know when that was. I wished I did. But somewhere along the way, 1 plate became okay. And used to it was 2 plates. But somewhere it just became 1 plate. And now it's a small plate. So little changes. Don't go throw all your cereal away. Don't want to waste no food. Don't go throw your nuts out. But pre-portioning is definitely a good thing to do. And being aware of what those labels say. So, all right, everybody. I love you guys. And I will chat with you next time. Bye-bye.